of alms.
I have been in many memorial sessions and in many funerals. At my old age, I have attended many weddings, I have attended many funeral and memorial. But this one is a very unique one, seriously. I call it multimedia memorial service. What Mike has done and what the friend of Evelyn has done to put the program together is quite unusual, seriously. It shows the degree of love that all of us had for this woman and the love that she had for all of us. I was sitting back there, I was very curious the way Mike was playing with her iPhone and tried to find things. Any moment I was thinking that she's going to call Evelyn and ask her to say a few words, see what's happening up there. This reminds me of a story. Many years ago, a friend of mine, probably all of us remember her, Dr. Taraz, he died. And it was a wonderful memorial for him. And I made some presentation and say a few words, and I told him a story. I said, Hushman and I, Dr. Taraz and I, we have an arrangement that whoever died first would come back and tell the other person whether there is feast in Abha Kingdom. Well, it was a good arrangement, to find out if there's a feast in Abha Kingdom. Then I told him, as a matter of fact, Hushman Taraz, that person, came to my dream a few nights ago, and he said, Hossein, I have good news and bad news. The good news is that there is feast in Abha Kingdom. And the bad news is that you're going to chair that feast. So in the audience, there was a wonderful lady by name Viola Wood. Actually, this Viola reminds me of her. Viola Wood was Secretary of our Assembly, most loving person you can imagine. She took my story seriously. And she came after the session, tear in her eyes. She said, Hossein, don't believe in this kind of dream. You're not going to die. You're not going to chair any feast in Abha Kingdom. So that I have to be careful what I'm saying today, because some folks may think that I'll be going. Actually, this is a joy. Death is a messenger of joy. Give me that pamphlet. I'm just curious. I have told this story many times. I attended the memorial a couple of years ago, and this wonderful lady who lives in Long Island died. And I was supposed to say a few words about her because I knew her. When I entered the funeral house, as usual, they handed you a nice program. Mike did a great job with this. Absolutely beautiful. So nice, really. So it was her picture, the dead woman, and on the top there was a quote, famous quote in Baha'i writing, and it said, "Death is not messenger of joy." I was shocked. This is not true. In the writing it said, "Death is messenger of joy." So I told her son, Native John, what's happening? This is not right. He said, oh, Hossein, he called me Doc. Oh, Doc, we took the program to the printer, and when he was preparing the program, he figured out it doesn't make sense that death is messenger of joy. So stupid guy put a knot. So he put down, death is not messenger of joy. So he said, please correct it and tell the people, no, what's happening. I knew it's so funny, maybe. Is it anybody else, Evelyn's family are here in the audience? No. I knew this family from way back. You cannot imagine how the relation developed. 4 years ago, maybe even 50 years ago, I got a call from National Assembly Center in Bilmet, Baha'i Center. And he said, there's a wonderful counselor here from a Chinese counselor from Malaysia, and he likes to come to New York and stay a couple of weeks and enjoy the city of Covenant. He has read so much about it. Can you think of where can he stay, or can you host him? I said, well, it happened those days. I was one of the few people who had a house in New York and could accommodate a guest. So I said, of course, he could stay with us. That man was Yankee Leong. Can you imagine? Grandfather of Evelyn came to my house 50 years ago, and he stayed there. He was most loving, humble, sweet, intelligent, war travelers. About 2 weeks that I spent with this old man, it went so fast, and I learned so much about him and so much about the Baha'i community in Malaysia. Malaysian Baha'i community always been very unique, and believe me, I assume is really a spirit of Yankee Leong. I think the same spirit of Aswa family in Ethiopia that has developed that community to such a station. They are the most effective, most loving Baha'i community in the entire world. I tell you an example. Somebody told me something cute. He said when the message comes from the House of Justice, for example, the House may say, jump, Baha'i community should jump. The Malaysian Baha'i said, how high? That's all they ask, how high? But the Western country, America, right away they want to write a guideline. They want to set up some workshop. How to jump, how to jump, where to jump,
When?
what is the safety net for the jump. I said, this is the difference between the Malaysian Baha'i community and let's say American Baha'i community. And this was the spirit of Yankee Leong, the first Baha'i in that continent, in that part of the world. And I think Mike make a reference, he became Baha'i in 1953, he told me, I remember, even the way he became Baha'i was interesting. It's a long story. I don't want to take too much time. So funny. I talked to Mike a couple of nights ago. He told me you have 4 minutes, but he talked himself for 20 minutes. so anyway, he attended 2 conferences. I'm talking about Yankee Leong. You know, Yankee Leong, actually Yan is his last name. K is his first name. In Chinese culture, we mention the first name first, I mean the family name first, then you mention the first name. That's how it became Yankee Leong. He attended 2 conferences. By coincidence, by magic, by, as Tatiana would say, by serendipity. He was sitting in the first conference next to a Baha'i woman by the name Shirin Fawza, who was one of the greatest Baha'i teachers in Asia from Indian background. Very famous Baha'i teacher, loved by Shoghi Effendi Guardian. He was sitting next to her, and of course got the feeling for the Faitis. Later on, can I go in detail and talk like Mike?
Go.
Maybe not, because I'm sure there are others coming. He attended another conference. This time, can you imagine, among hundreds of people who are there, he was sitting to a hand of a cause of God, Agnes Alexander.
Wow.
I don't know how many of you have know about her, but she was a great Baha'i teacher. South American community of really older existent to her, and Southeast Asia and all that. So I think the influence of these 2 women, of Yankee Leong, was enough for him to declare himself. He later on became an auxiliary board member. He traveled extensively to Singapore, to Hong Kong, to Taiwan, and other places. He spread the faith all over. He helped to establish the first spiritual assembly in Malaysia. Later on, he was appointed as a counselor, I think was late 60s. And he used to tell me a story. He said, Hussein, when I was a younger man, I was a member of local assembly, and we were doing some jobs. Then later on, when we become older, they appoint me as an auxiliary board member, gave me more responsibility. Then I became older, much older, they appoint me as a counselor. I don't know why they're doing this to me, but he was an amazing man. Okay, the last point. I wrote a book called Awakening. It's a story of Wahid and of Neris and upheavals. It's a historical book that was published by Baha'i Publishing Trust. I received a email from the National Assembly of Malaysia. Somehow they found out about the book, and they were wondering if they could translate the book into Chinese and publish it. A strange call from Malaysia, they want the book in Chinese, and then they explain, we are going to do it in the simplified Chinese. I have no idea what that meant, simplified Chinese. Anyway, we sent them a copy and all that. They found a wonderful man to translate the book, an older gentleman. They published the book and they distributed. And then later on, thanks to Jack Chang Brothers, who was very active in Taiwan Baha'i community, they also published it in the traditional Chinese in Taiwan. All I'm saying that from my relation, the Yankee Leong, that took place 50 years before. Later on, I met his granddaughter. She was the sweetest and the cutest young woman that you could meet. She was just got a job with the Saudi Arabian airline. She loved to travel and see the world. That's why she got that job. And of course, we became friends, and I have lots more story to tell you about it, but I don't have as much time as Mike.